I will call it there. Are you happy with our lesson so far?
I
Oh,
am.
excellent,
I've learned,
excellent.
I've learned so much, man.
Excellent. Oh, I'll
Uh,
keep this recording so you can watch it over again.
yeah, man, thanks again, and I really
Oh,
appreciate you
my
taking
pleasure.
the
No,
time out.
thank you for watching my videos and being part of the community.
I will be there. It has helped me tremendously, man.
Okay.
So,
Oh, my pleasure, Samuel. I
all right.
remember you said something earlier. It was you want to learn how to, like, refine the time frame, like go down from 5 minute to a lower time frame. Are you still interested in this, or do you just want to stick with like 5 minute entry?
I want to see what the 1 minute offers because
Okay.
I need to sleep. I don't know how long I could do this for. I've been doing this for 2 years, 2 years, 2 o'clock every morning, 2:30, 2 o'clock every morning. I'm up, you know, and then on weekends I'm back testing 2 o'clock. You know,
Oh, weekends you're
it
back
is
testing as well.
back testing as well. So I need to. I practiced the 1 minute. Yes. I've been doing it, but I took a live trade yesterday on GJ. You know,
Okay.
because I'm also looking at Asia because with
Yeah.
Asia I could trade in the evenings after school and just go to my bed.
I suppose
You
so.
know, so I'm trying trying. If I have to keep on waking up 2 o'clock, I'll do it. But
Yeah.
if I can, get some rest, I'll take that too.
Because I never trade the Asian session because of the
Mhm.
volatility. It's much lower, and it's just
Yeah,
I've noticed it's a bit less likely to reach like very key areas. They usually save the key areas for like the London session or the New
London
York
and New
session.
York.
Yeah, because that's when all the news
Yeah.
is as well. Is
Yes.
usually never news during Asian session. So
Yeah.
especially forex pair. Forex pair especially has much less volatility during Asian session, but indices have a bit more. But so that's something else to keep in mind.
Oh,
So if
oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and also like, do you trade with live broker?
Yeah, man. I have a account with
Yeah. Do you
I
notice
see
that
man.
with Asian session the spread is much worse than
It's
in
much.
session? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of like a negative with Asian session, but of
the
course you can.
trade
Yep.
the trade yesterday, price was hitting and going through my take profit, and the trade wouldn't close.
No, it happens. Yeah, I know, right? It happens. Oh man, yeah, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm like,
That's
what?
so sometimes I don't trust my limit orders, so I set alarm, and
Uh-huh.
if it goes through my limit and I can see the spread is very high at the time, I will just close my order because my objective is reached, but I'm not
Yeah.
waiting for the spread to reach. So sometimes when I like say your objective is at a swing high, but
Hmm.
with your take profit will be like a couple pips below the swing high just because of spread. So that's like something I like to do because
Okay.
if it reaches the high, the spread might not take my profit. So I have to move my take profit a bit lower. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
just like a
Hmm.
habit I do.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
for me, I think it's just, I think I said it, greed. Greed is my biggest problem, and
Mm.
I think with your
The pattern.
trading style of taking partials,
Yes.
I that kind of appealed to me. You know, it, a lot of stuff stood out to me in your videos,
Yep.
but the near term analysis and the partials, I those really kind of resonate with me.
Those are the types of videos I never get any views on.
For real?
But those
Just
are the
man.
ones that are like the really important ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
I really when I found the near term analysis when I was
Yeah.
going to bed one night, and then I was on my phone and I watched it, and the next day I wake up and I'm saying, what was that video call again? What was that? And I actually had to go back through and watch a couple more videos, and then I found it. I would say yes,
Oh. Oh man. I feel that's such an
yes.
old video as well, but yeah.
Yeah. But trust me, man, because I was struggling with getting the daily bias. because I would get the daily bias, and then I would go down on the smaller time frames, and I'm looking for a buy because the daily bias is bullish,
Yeah.
but then the market is just selling.
Mm.
But it had to go somewhere first before it start buying.
Sure. Yes.
So when you said to do the near term analysis, that's the time I started drawing out the equal lows, the swing lows, the swing highs. I
Yes.
say,
Yep.
okay, maybe the market goes there first and then
Exactly.
buy.
Yep.
So how do I get in?
Because
So
sometimes when you're very zoomed in, you don't know what's on the left hand side. You don't know what it's reaching for. So if you look to the
right,
left a bit, you can see something. It's like, oh, equal lows
yeah,
is very close. Then you can
yeah,
get an idea of the bigger picture.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I just want to say something with the refining from the 5 minute to the lower time frame, because when you say you like to mark out 1 hour gaps and trade on entry with 5 minute chart,
Yes,
so let me just find a quick example. I think UK. Are you on UK chart right now? UK 100.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I have the UK
Yep.
100 up.
Actually, I will just share my screen. Maybe you can have a look from there.
Okay.
Can you? Are you on a computer?
Yes, I'm on my computer
Okay.
now.
Okay. Let me know when you can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like for example, let's just say we have a we're looking for a bullish opportunity in here, and you want to take a buy, just for example, right? And this is a 5 minute chart. It's if I asked you where do you want to enter in this area to buy, what would you say?
I
Or
would
like,
say
or
that I
how
would
would
have
you, what would
to.
you look for to enter?
All right. So right now it's kind of going up to shift the market. I would have to wait until they shift the market and come back to that order block or the fair value gap in
Mm.
that big green candle there.
You see a very little order, really little gap here, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's just say, for example, it shift market structure, right? And it
Right.
returns. Okay, so this is 5 minute chart. We can see that fair value gap is very small in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll notice in a 5 minute chart, there won't even be a gap. It will be
I get.
fully closed. So this
Yeah.
is like opportunity. So you on the 5 minute, you've identified the potential pattern, and now is how you go down time frame. So if you want to like be more precise, so we'll just go down to 3 minute first. So I click 3 minute, and now is it a bit clearer?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can clearly see the gap
yeah, it's
now.
it's much clearer now, right? Like 3 minute is
Yeah.
there, and let's just have a look at 1 minute now. Now what about now? Is it clearer?
Yeah. It
Yeah,
can be refined a little bit
yeah, refined
too.
even more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now we have like a 3 minute gap here and a 1 minute gap here. But if we only stick on 5 minute, we would only see like this, or maybe we wouldn't even see a gap at all. So
Yeah.
on the 5 minute, if you have a trade idea, you can mark out like where you would like to enter, like a range, for example.
Mhm.
Like maybe on the 5 minute, we want to enter in a discount, and then you
Yes.
can go with the same idea, go down the time frame to find like a very specific entry. So this is a 3 minute entry, it's a 1 minute entry, and then you can pick which one or do you know what I mean by like how optimistic do you want to be your entry?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
So then you can pick like, do I want to be enter here, or do I want to have a very good position and enter here? You can choose. But if you're only on 5 minute, you won't even see this option.
Yeah.
You only see like this option. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like how to use the time frame. Is you have your 5 minute idea, but then you go down to find like the precise entry.
Entries.
Yeah, yeah. Does that make sense? Like how I use
Yes.
the
That
time.
that that makes sense. That makes
I think
sense.
this was actually a really good example.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I actually have that marked out, because
yeah.
where it's rejecting from now is actually a 1 hour gap. I think I marked out is that a 1 hour or 15-minute gap down there?
Okay.
So it's
This one
rejecting
here.
from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It's rejecting from it.
So we
Yeah,
can. So
so
when I talk about like RAID, market structure shift and return, it's I think I mentioned in this live stream is like if you want a really good RAID, it's like a RAID plus a reach.
yes,
So for
I wrote that
example,
down yesterday.
so so like in a 5 minute chart, there's like equal lows, right, that we were looking at all day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yes.
reached on all the indices, and so this is like a raid, but also it's reached that 1 hour
Reaching
gap.
into
Yeah, yeah. So
a
that's an
area.
example. Yeah, and as long as you have objective above first, so like a lot of people, they're very focused in on RMR, but they don't know what's above. But like
Mm-hmm.
first you have to look at what's above, and if you have a reason to go up, like we have equal highs,
Equalize
we
it
have more equal highs, like if you have some sort of reason to go up, then we can look for RMR to go up,
to
right?
go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah.
want to like look for RMR and then think, what should I
What should I,
take
where should
profit?
I put
Yeah,
my
yeah,
take
yeah,
profit?
yeah,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
should have like a final objective first, and then if you get the entry, then you can choose, maybe do I want to take partial here, do I want to take partial here, but you already know what the final objective is. That's what started everything. Okay. Do you have any questions about the time frame thing, or do you want to look at another example?
You know, I was kind of struggling with this morning, although I knew that this was going. It was. I knew that it was entering into this gap here, that
Yep.
same 1 hour gap. You know, I
Yep.
was kind of there, and I'm wondering, is this the raid? Is this the raid? Is this the raid? Because this morning at on the 5 minutes at 3:10,
Yep.
I was thinking, okay, that's
This
the
one here.
raid.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
This is a very classic example of how the market will manipulate a lot of traders. Do you know what
Uh-huh.
happened at this leg? What I saw at this leg? Or what do you think I'm thinking? As soon as price does this, what do you think is going through my mind?
Well, at its breaking market sentiment to go down or something.
Okay, what I'm thinking is, because yesterday we have these equal low as objective, right? Like all these lows
Oh,
here on the
uh-huh.
left. So if we zoomed in, we can't see what happened, but if we zoom out, we can see these lows. So as soon
Yeah.
as this goes down,
It's equal load.
yeah, so I'm thinking this leg should go through, right, to take liquidity. It makes sense.
Yes.
There's so much money down here. But as soon as this leg pump up, right, as soon as it pump and does not take the liquidity, oh my God, this is a very strong area of support, right? Everyone is thinking this strong area of support,
Yeah.
buy, right? And how many people do you think wait too long? Because this is only like 10 minutes. Someone's
Yes.
probably buying up here, right?
Yes.
People don't
Yes.
buy very quickly. People take a long time to buy, to choose. So people are buying up here, and these guys are getting messed up right now. But they left the liquidity here. So the market
They're
has
gonna come back.
enticed so many people to buy, and everyone that's shorting before, they've stopped out sentiment here. So like
Mm-hmm.
the 1 minute chart, the sentiment for London is, from Asian to London, is very bearish, right?
Here is
Very
right.
is obviously bearish.
Yes.
So if you imagine someone wake up London open like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they see bearish, they see their trend line is going bearish. Finally, the trend line is bearish, and now they short. It's perfect
Yeah.
timing, right? It's
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
timing, and then the market breaks sentiment. It's
Yeah.
like the market is disgusting. It will
Do
it will,
everything to stop you
yeah,
out, and then goes where it wants to go.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
does this, and now I'm thinking, if it pumps, where will it pump to? I will think it's going to pump to break sentiment. So people
Mm-hmm.
have sentiment at swing highs, different swing high. I don't know if it's going to break this one, go down, break this one, go. It doesn't matter. You just have to wait for the shift first. So it's like if it's a raid and then a shift, but it happens up here. So like in here, then it's like a raid, and then finally it shifts, right? And then unfortunately, if you're looking for RMR, you don't really get the opportunity. You have like one candle here to find an
A wake
RMR.
up.
Yeah, but
Yep.
it's not like not a very clean entry, right?
I saw it after the fact.
Yeah,
I
but
saw it because I was watching it because right where it turned back, I
yep,
also have a 15-minute gap right up there where it turned back.
15-minute
And
gap. Oh,
yeah,
these ones. Yep, yep.
yeah, I was watching it, and I'm saying, is this where it's gonna turn back? But
Yeah.
the trade yesterday on SMP, I
S&Ps.
actually the trade that failed yesterday
Yeah.
on the live where it said that we're gonna take,
Yeah.
and you see that it wasn't valid anymore because the NAS had broken higher.
Hmm. Is it the short during the New York
The
session?
short, yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
short.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So I wrote down yesterday that like if there's a fair value gap
yeah. Yep.
or a order block close to where I'm trying to enter a short, like it's above it a little bit,
Yes.
maybe what I need to do is to see if it want to reach up into it and then drop.
Yes, that's a good idea.
You know, because that's what it did yesterday.
Exactly.
You know, so that kind of puzzled me this morning and caused me not to even
Because
attempt to take this trade.
yeah, because
You know?
yesterday it was very strong bias to go lower, right? So many reasons, too many reasons.
Yeah.
Nasdaq
Yeah.
low, everything lows, and DXY equal high, everything highs, right? Like DXY high, USD CAD high, all of these were taken. This bias was too
Hmm.
strong. But
Hmm.
yesterday the sentiment was very. On Wednesday the sentiment was very bearish, and it seems
Hmm.
lots of these shorters and their stop losses were very deep. Like lots of
Yeah.
liquidity was here. So price wanted to take out many more shorters first before going to the
Before
objective.
it
Yeah.
came down. Yeah.
So something actually very interesting yesterday is Nasdaq take out or almost take out the previous day high and just take out previous day low, but a lot of the indices have like a very like a inside day, so they don't break
Hmm.
high
They were
and
just
break low.
ranging.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
ranging.
Yeah, they were
So
just ranging.
yeah, and so when this happened, I think I mentioned the live stream, but when everything is like very short range day, the next day or the next week will be a very large range day. And so either
Okay.
today will be very large range day to take out both side of liquidity, but once again there's no news, right? But next week we had a look in the live stream. There's news like every couple of days, big impact news. So it could be using this week as like a consolidation range
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we
Oh,
know
it is.
last week was a very big range.
Yeah.
We already expect like a smaller range this week, and then next week with more news it could be a bigger week.
A bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
if like equal highs and equal lows are formed like during like today and leaving it for next week, then next
Hmm.
week we'll definitely have those in mind, and those will be like the bias for those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's interesting to talk about.
Oh, and I, I, I was looking at it this morning, and
Yeah.
I'm saying, do I sell here because it didn't reach into the gap. It just barely sweep it. And I said, do I take it?
Mm.
I didn't end up taking it.
Yeah.
You know, I think what I did was that I measured it and it didn't reach up to the. Because another thing that I do, I like to take my trades at 61.
What's 6-1?
The fib
Oh,
retracement.
fifth. Yep, yep, yep. 61. Okay.
Right.
Yep, yep.
I
I
take it
understand.
at 61 too.
Yeah.
I don't know why I take that and not the 50, but
Oh, 62
I
is
take it
good
at 6.
because 50 is
Yeah.
like a fair price. 62 is a better price.
Right.
But for
Right.
me,
Right.
I take out like the best. I take out best price.
Yeah, I will sit down and see a
Yep.
trade coming up and it reaches the fair value gap, but I say, okay, I'm waiting until it reaches 61.
Yeah.
You know? You
Because
know?
also, just to keep in mind is if you place a
Mhm.
trade like let's say 50%, you have a bigger stop loss,
A
right?
bigger stop
So if you
loss,
have a
right?
bigger stop loss but the same risk, you have a smaller lot size, right?
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
a smaller lot size, you make less with the profit. So if
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
waiting for like a better entry, your stop loss is lower, but
Right.
the risk is the same. So
Hmm.
your lot size is bigger, is a bigger lot size. So if you
Yeah.
profit, you're also profiting much more.
Profiting much
Yeah,
more.
so
Yeah.
I like to be more patient and selective. So I like to wait for a really good entry so I can have a fat lot size.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still risking the same.
The
It's
same
just
amount.
yeah, yeah. But
I
it's just less likely to go here. It's more likely to have a shallow retracement. That's all. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're
Mm-hmm.
patient, you don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why I am so fascinated with the 1 minute going down on the smaller
Ah,
time frame.
yeah. Just to
And
find.
if that's a good thing,
I
but
think it's a good thing to if you like to. Oh, but it does take time, right? Because you don't want to spend too much time in the chart. If you're on the 1 minute, you're like watching every minute. But
hmm
if you're like, oh, you can always set alarm, right? Like on TradingView, you can set alert, and it'll send you a message on your phone when it
when
hits
it
it.
reaches there,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
that's an option as well.
yeah.
Oh, I just want to say something about this one here, like what happened
hmm
today. You know how we're talking about raid and the reach?
Yes.
What do you think happened at this raid? Do you think this one reached anything as well, or was it just a normal raid?
Well, that one actually, as I said, I had a 50. Which you're on SM, oh yeah, UK 100 still, right?
Yes, yep, yep.
All right. So it actually reached the 15-minute gap
Exactly.
that I had.
Yep, this one here.
You know, it reached a 50. All right. So all right. For on my broker on Trading View,
Yep.
it just barely wick inside there.
15 minutes. Which one? What broker do you use?
I'm using currency.com
Currency.com.
and it just barely reached inside there. Unless I didn't draw the I'm not precise with my
Cause
box
I
as if
think
the price will
because
respect that.
I think a better like a good way to look at the price to find the gap is you don't have to be like super specific, right? Otherwise I'll be
Right.
specific like this or like this, right? Super specific. But if it's like in a row, it's fine to just
It's an
put it together.
area.
Yeah, just put it together.
Yeah.
It's an area.
hmm
Yeah. And so we can see that this one is raid, but it also reach. So it's like a plus raid. So it's
I could
better
have
raid.
taken that one then, man.
If we do backtesting, you'll see that you can take a million trades, but it's not about what you can do. Yeah. But this,
I
yeah,
sat down and I
yeah,
sat down and watched that one and I was saying, okay, it just barely touched it. Maybe that's not a reach.
yeah. But it is a
Yeah.
good. It would have been a because the story behind this move. It's like a. It makes sense. The story is like sentiment, break sentiment to raid and reach,
hmm
create RMR and go to objective, which is the big objective below. So it's like the story all makes sense. And
Okay,
then
so
oh yep yep.
I like what you said there. When you're breaking sentiment, you're reaching at the same time. Is that always the case, or you
No
could
no no
just
not
be
sorry.
in a consolidation and just reach and just raid?
Yeah, a lot of the times you will not have a raid and a reach. Most of the time is just a raid. Like
Ah,
if this was just efficiently traded, then this would just be a raid. There's no gap here. It's just a raid. But
okay.
if it's like a gap here that it reach as well, so during sentiment it broke sentiment, raided and reached, then this is like a very good raid. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Just for clarification though,
Yep.
if you look at Asia to London, the
Yep.
sentiment is bearish, right?
Correct.
And then it raided above to break that sentiment.
Yes, correct.
Does the raid always break sentiment?
The raid will always break center. Yes. Otherwise, it's not a raid is something that takes liquidity, right? It
Okay.
it doesn't matter if it's taking liquidity below. Like this is still like a raid. Like all of these legs are raids because they're
Mm-hmm.
taking liquidity below a swing. But if the sentiment is bearish, there's more liquidity above.
Above.
Yeah, because
All
it's
right.
not being touched. It's being left there. So if
Right.
it's not
Right.
being
Right.
touched, people have opportunity to put orders there, to put stop loss, to put breakout trade. They have opportunity to do that. So if there's a lot of orders there, when sentiment break, it just means it's raiding that liquidity. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
sentiment breaking is always a raid.
Okay. By the way, are you taping this?
Yeah, I'm recording this.
Oh, thank you. I need to watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, no problem. That's fine. Because I noticed with a lot of the one-on-one lessons,
Uh-huh.
when I first started, I never recorded it, and I never told them to record it. But when we speak, we always go over time, and we always talk about so much. And
Right,
when
right,
there's a
right,
lot of information, it's like hard to process. You have to
right. You
watch it
need
back
to,
a bit. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, you need to go back over it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there's
You know,
there's
because
only so much I can cover in one video, but in
mhm,
one-on-one you can ask like so many little questions, like be very specific, and I can help with
yes,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
You
Because
were
I was
saying
kind of
something?
think struggling with that, because suppose like that leg that formed the equal lows before the big buy.
Yes.
Suppose it had taken the daily low. Suppose it
These
had
ones?
come down, right?
Yeah.
Suppose it had come down
Yes.
further, then that will also be a read, and we could buy to that gap up top, right? Because it
Uh,
already
you
took
have
the
to.
low.
Yep, that is an idea, but you're using the
Hmm.
gap as like your final objective, right? And
Yes,
with your bias, you will make a decision: is this gap very likely, or is there anything below very likely? But we know there's not much below. There's not too
right.
much below. So you could use this, but if I was looking for a buy, if it rated here, my
Hmm.
objective would have been the equal high.
The equalizer at
I,
the
I, would-
top.
I would say the equal high up here is a more likely, or has more liquidity or more reason to go here than just to fill the gap.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just
yeah,
my personal opinion, but I think it makes logical sense.
right. But
Yeah,
so what I'm asking though is if the wick that is there actually came down and took out those stops down
yep,
there, yeah,
yep,
we could actually look for the shift and buy up and do a bullish trade, right?
yes, yes, correct.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty much the reason that it, or because it didn't take the liquidity down here, it left this as an objective in the future.
Yeah.
Uh, so if it did take it at that point, like right now, then if it shifted, there would be much less of a reason for price to come down here
To
again.
come back down there
Yeah, yeah.
again.
It's it,
Yeah.
it, it doesn't matter if it does, but it's less likely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if it
Mm-hmm.
raids
Mm-hmm.
and shifts, that could be an opportunity to look for a buy. So for
Okay.
example, here we finally had the raid here. We had the raid here. We also reached like the 1 hour gap you mentioned, like over here. It's a very
Yeah.
small 1 hour gap. We can probably refine if we go lower time frame. Not really, nothing there. Maybe a 15 minute. Let's have a look. Not really. It's just a 1 hour gap in here.
Just a 1 hour gap.
Yeah, just a 1 hour gap. Actually, it might be a order block. Order block is down here actually. This one. So it has not reached the order block. Just gonna try different time frames. You can call this like a large order block, but this is a very high time frame
Yeah.
because this one still created a shift, so it's still called an order block, but it's a bit too higher time frame to use here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
1 hour gap here is good enough. So it's reached, it's rated. Here's the entry opportunity. It's shifted like we were waiting for, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is a potential entry that you can take to aim for equal highs. And
Right.
also
And
we
the
have gaps above, so that can be a partial area.
the shift could be just it wicking above the last swing high up there.
Like this one here.
Yes.
Let me just clean up my chart. With the shift, I was going to talk a little bit about this with you. It's like what makes a really good. So you already know what makes a really good raid. Like it's a raid plus a reach, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some
Mm-hmm.
other factors. But with the market structure shift, there's also ways you can have a good market structure shift, a really bad one. There's lots of different ways to talk about it. So for example, it's like this one here. As soon as price breaks like swing high, we can call this market structure shift, but it's not like a really decisive or not a really good market structure shift.
Okay.
Yep. So like you have swing highs, you have all these swing highs. when price breaks it, it's shifted. So even if
Okay.
price broke this one, retraced into here, that could still be your RMR, your raid, your shift, and then return. But it's not a good shift. It's still a shift, but it's not a good shift.
So
The
although
way,
you're on the
yep,
1 minute, you're still looking at price as if you were on a 5 minute to see the shift.
the way, what? Sorry, what do you mean?
No, I mean, although you're on the 1 minute chart,
Yeah, we're on the 1 minute
you
chart.
you still want to see what the 5 minutes is doing for you to say that it's a good shift then.
So I was gonna say like it's if you want to find like a better market structure shift, you have to find what caused the raid. So this is for like an A plus market structure shift. So it's whatever caused the raid, and so if I just draw like a raid, shift, and then like a return to go short, right? It's just the raid leg, the shift leg. If we just look at the shift leg, like one big leg, in this example, we have raid leg, shift leg. Wait, give me a second. It's we raid down here, like raid the lows, and then shift up, right? So then we
Yeah.
look at what would make a good market structure shift is it has to break whatever created the raid. So what that means is what created this raid. It's this movement up here. This is what started the raid, what started everything. So a
Okay.
good shift would be like a good shift would be raid, market structure shift like immediately after to break whatever caused the raid
Positive.
and then return. So this market structure shift would be very, very decisive, and it has to leave like a gap in a very deep discount. That would be a very good market structure shift.
Okay.
I can draw it like a bit easier here. It's like if we have like a raid like below, and then what caused the raid here is this leg here. This
Ran
one.
from the yeah.
Yeah, so if it breaks like immediately in one leg up and a gap under, this is like a plus market shift and then return. And then if you want to find like a not that good market structure shift, it's if you have the raid and then like short term high is broken, but if there is still like a little gap in here, this can still be your return. But you can see that they are both market structure shift because it was bearish and then became bullish short term. Like in this one, it was bearish and then it broke a swing high, so it's become bullish. But you can see the difference. It's like this one is less decisive, this one is much more decisive. Yeah.
And that one is more
So
powerful.
then when we look at this example here, it doesn't matter what time frame we are. It's whatever caused this raid. It started from up here.
Yeah.
So instead of this one, it's like short term market structure. So it's like the bad market structure shift. It's still a market structure shift, but it's just not like not the A plus example. And then when you find like a really good raid and a really good shift and a really good return, that's like the A plus RMR.
Okay, so like for your A plus trades, do you like size up your size on those kind of trades, or
If
you
it's
stick to
it depends on like how clean the objective is. So if my bias is so one-sided and it's like correlating markets are all telling the same story, then let's for example say this is A plus setup. Let's just for example say it's A plus. If it's A plus, I'll place my entry, have my risk, and if I get an opportunity to pyramid, right, like another opportunity, this would be a setup I would pyramid. So, but if it was like not an A plus setup, most likely I will not pyramid. But if it's A plus, I will accept to allocate more risk or protect some risk to allocate more risk and have that trade going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was watching over that video last night on that
Yeah.
pyramiding the trades
Oh yeah. I haven't
as
talked
it
about
goes.
pyramiding for so long. It must be an old
Yeah,
video.
well, I tell you, I go through
Oh man,
what I
what
did.
one?
I watched them already, but what I'm doing now is that I'm going to the playlist, because you have them in
Oh,
playlist.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just go and sorry, let me go over this
yeah.
just in this playlist and not
Ah,
go and select a video.
yep.
So I'm going over the playlist now.
I tried to make it a bit more organized,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
realized every single video is execution proof playlist. So, oh man.
I was watching that, but I noticed that with your pyramiding, are you
Yep.
saying that you keep the original stop loss even though the market has moved away from it? Would you,
No, it
uh,
depends on my risk exposure. So, like for example, if I used 1% risk, like if you use 1% risk, and
mhm,
you don't want to lose more than 1% ever, for example,
yeah,
if this is 1% risk, if price moves and comes back to here to enter, as soon as you place the trade and your stop loss wherever, you're risking more than 1%. So you have to decide, do I want to risk more than 1% or only 1%? And if you only want to risk 1%, you have to do something. So you have to close the risk fully and open up 1%, or like have a lower lot size here so you can have a bigger stop loss but
you
still
guys stop loss.
1%. Yep. But this trade is completely closed. So your risk is
Risky.
closed. Yep. So it's still 1% now.
Yeah,
Or you
yeah.
can reduce risk to, let's say prices, let me do another example. Prices now all the way up here, but your objective is not reached yet. You still have your objective above. So here, it's like, what can I do? Can I, if I pyramid here, I still have more than 1% if I don't change anything. So I can choose to maybe reduce like a little bit, maybe 0.5% here, and have like 0.5% of risk maybe here, or 0.5% risk there, or 0.5% like that. You can choose whatever
Okay,
you like, as long as it matches your risk tolerance.
okay,
But yeah, but most of the time you can just protect completely and just treat this as a new trade, like a 1% trade.
okay.
That can, yeah, or
So,
1% to this or whatever.
so when you're trading like that, do you like have a set rule where you because for me, I normally move my stops to break even once
Yep.
it reaches 2 hours.
When to, I don't use like things based on RR. Like for example, if we have a trade here, and
Mm-hmm.
when it reaches, let's for example say 5R, right? 5R is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 5R's here, and then 6R is right here. I don't like to use these levels because it doesn't make sense to me with price. Price
Has to be
doesn't
a
know.
logical
Yeah, it has
area.
to be logical.
Uh-huh.
It's like saying, do I take off my profits at a round number? Do I take it off at 10,000? Do I take it off at 5,000? I don't want to take it off at 4,800, right? It doesn't make sense. Like it, it sounds, it's not what the market cares about, is what I'm trying to say. The market doesn't care about your RR, it cares about where the objective is. And like, if these are the objectives, then I can maybe look for, maybe this objective is around 6.7R, so I'll close a bit at 6.7R, and then this one I'll close at around 9.5R. So it's not like specific RR levels, it's all based on price. Because
I guess
yeah,
that is why I don't take partials because I was always looking at it. All right, when it reach 2 hour, I'll take off something. But if I use the levels now, then I could say if it reaches this level, I'll take off.
exactly. I think that's a
I'll
good
take it.
step, definitely a good
Yeah,
step. It makes
yeah.
sense as well. Does it make sense to you, or is
Yes,
it
it
like,
makes sense.
okay,
Because
excellent.
I don't take partials because my idea of taking partials was
Yeah.
all right, it reached 2 hour. Am I
Mm,
going to let it come back and stop me out and I don't get paid?
mm,
So it was always about the money. But now, now, if I'm looking at logical areas, it
yeah.
doesn't matter how much money is on the MetaTrader.
Mm.
I just make my decision based on what price is showing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The different, you just have to keep in mind. Of course, when you take off partial, you're gonna make less, right? It just makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. You'll have less
Mm-hmm.
risk exposure. So over here is 1R, right? Or minus 1R.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with partial is you don't, or you shouldn't take them off too close to your entry, because you just can't let as much run. You're just gonna get rid of your whole position. So for
Yeah.
example, if I'm on a 1 minute, I'm not gonna take off let's just say price is here now, and I'm not going to take off 90% of my trade at this level, right? It
Right.
doesn't make sense. You want to
Right.
let
Because your
the
objective is
majority.
way
Yeah, yeah,
further.
exactly. You can take off, like, if you really want to like help your psychology, or you're struggling to hold on, then you can always take off maybe like 5% or something small, just so you can feel like you've paid yourself and you're more likely to let your position do its work. So you can take off a little bit, let your main position run, and then when you get to the next objective, you can take off whatever you want, maybe 50%, maybe another 10%, whatever you prefer. And then just until you reach your final objective, that's when I take off the majority, because that's what I was aiming for. Once I've finished aiming for this, then I can maybe let like 10% run
A
to the end of the
10%
day.
run.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
like that
usually do.
idea that you
Yeah.
shared about letting 10% run.
Because then you go to sleep, you wake up,
Yeah.
maybe prizes like that.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
like, that happen. It happens sometimes.
I tell
and
you,
and
and
then your 10% there actually would have been like a whole extra R, like with a full
yeah,
position. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a good
yeah,
habit to take. Yeah.
yeah. I like that.
And so for me, I'm used to letting 10%, 20%, or 30% run, but a lot you can start with whatever's comfortable. Like some people are comfortable with letting 1% run. Some people
Mm-hmm.
can't even let 1% run. They have to take it off. So
Mm-hmm.
just find whatever you're comfortable with and stick with that, and then you can always improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna practice the taking off partials because
Excellent.
as I said, I've held trades
Yeah.
and now what I normally do is to protect my capital is move to break even
Yep. Yep.
and they just come up stop me at that break even and then continue up if I'm
Okay.
buying. You know, so I I'm definitely gonna take partials. Actually,
Yep.
found this calculator,
Okay.
position calculator that I'm using now,
Yep.
and it actually allows for that.
Is it the one that I sent, or you found a different one?
No one is one that is a expert advisor that you put in MetaTrader,
Oh, yep, 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 that one. Expert advisor.
right?
Is it
Yeah.
trade
So
manager? Because there's heaps of expert advisors now.
this one is called position calculator.
Position calculator, yep. That would be a very easy way to manage your position. I'm very
Right.
old school, so I do everything I do everything manually. I get my risk calculator, put my partial, and then I set my alarm. And when it goes off, I take off my partial. So I'm very old school.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's just what
Yeah.
I'm used to.
So I think I'm gonna work with the partials. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that actually does a lot of damage to my psychology.
Damage. Oh.
You know, to
Yeah.
see the trade was in so much profit, you know, move to break even, and
Mm.
then just to see all of that profit erased, you know, so it it really
But
plays a
even if
lot
you get
on.
stopped out at break even, for example, here, like let's say our first partial would be a small position here.
Mhm.
Let's say we can get a first partial and we decide stop loss break even and we get stopped out. I won't be upset with this idea. Like we still got to pay ourselves, we didn't lose anything. This was just like a losing trade and then we
Mhm.
missed out. Yeah. Uh, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be too upset about this scenario because this happens quite often actually. Like we find an entry, we reach like a potential partial area, and then we get stopped. Like these are like the trades I don't cover too much because they're not the best examples, but it happens quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can avoid these ones when you have very selective trades. Like if you look for a really good RMR setup with a really good objective, then it's more likely to run to that area. It's less likely to stop you out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Especially since there's no news today, we can just wait for equity open or something to have more volatility.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other topics you want to talk about? I think we have time to talk about one more topic, and then we'll call it there.
Okay. What about do you back test this strategy and how you go about back testing it?
Backtesting was like a thing that I used to do when I first started with a new strategy, but I think if you have the luxury of watching live price, like if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to stay up too late every night or get 0 hours of sleep, then of course you have to back test. But if you can forward test, I would say is much more effective, because when you back test, like for example, I go back and I back test RMR, right? We call RAID, we call like market structure shift, and then we wait for like return, and we see if it shorts here, like this random backtest example. Maybe we take off our first partial and we miss it and we get stopped out. Like this is just the backtest example, but you can't really get an idea of the context or the story. Like if I click onto a different indice and I click onto DXY, I can't really, I have to scroll back every time and look for
See what
what's
that
up.
was
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're forward testing, you can see like, oh, Nasdaq is here, S&P, Dow. You can see which one is stronger, which one is weaker, which one you can pick. Have a look at DXY. Does it have the same story? Does VIX have the same story? Just it's you can compare a lot of the things like live, because this is like the skill you want to practice, is being able to uh, find evidence in different areas. If you use correlating markets, this is a good skill to have.
Yeah,
But
I try to correlate my peers. What is VIX though? I've never used.
VIX is just like I treat it as I treat it like DXY, so it's just inverse. So if DXY is up, VIX is most likely bullish, and if VIX is like, let's just have a look, like bearish for this week, then indices should be bullish. Like if
So
we
if
zoom out a
VIX
bit.
is bullish, then the indices should be bullish too.
Oh, in inverse. So
The
let's
inverse.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll go short term. It looks a bit more clearer. So from New York yesterday to London, it was bullish then bearish, right? So
Mm-hmm.
indices should be bearish then bullish. And if we have a look from New York, it was like bearish then a little bit bullish there. So
Okay.
it's like an inverse relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never used that. I use a DXY, when I'm trading like
Mm.
the GU or EU. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no need to overcomplicate things. I just have a lot of different markets because I've spent enough time with just one or two. I've added another one, then I add another one, because I think
Mhm.
with trading, we're always trying to get better. We always want to find more things and like become better at trading.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to stick to those. Well, for now, I'm just sticking to those four pairs of the two index and the two
EUGU.
forex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use, yeah, EU and GU.
Yeah.
I like GJ, so I
Oh,
always
yeah.
look on it every now and then.
Nah, I like GJ as well. GJ is pretty cool. I'm pretty mad at GJ actually because I was waiting for this area to be taken this year, right? I think
Uh-huh.
I waited like a year, like a whole year, and then Italian presidential election came along. Oh my god! In one day. Oh come on, man. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
I couldn't short this at all. I was waiting for it. I was just looking for it for a year. Like as soon as all these lows were painted, I was like, oh, it's time to
it's
look
coming
for.
back for
Yeah,
it.
we're looking for a
Yeah,
short down here, and then okay, this happens.
yeah,
But
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
GJ is very unforgiving. You know, if you make a mistake, GJ makes you pay for it.
But
GJ
as
makes
long
you
as you
pay for
control
it.
your risk, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna pay more than you risk, so it's okay.
Than your risk. Yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah, yeah. But it makes you pay emotionally, just me.
Of course, yes, bro. I was waiting for a year. How do you think I felt when I woke
Yeah,
up and Italian election does this? Oh my god.
yeah.
I could short a
Is
little during this leg, but for the bulk part, this was like like almost 1,000 pips that I couldn't do anything for.
doing anything
Did
with.
not have anything. Could not participate. It's like This was
Yeah.
Sunday, the start of the week. Oh my god. I'm not even home yet, and it does this.
Yeah.
uh,
I GJ is what actually caused me to still be trading, you know. I when I just started, I told myself that I was ready,
yep.
and I took a challenge.
Yep.
And the last day of the challenge, I decided to risk the full daily risk
Okay. Okay.
and go in a trade. and I
How'd
put
that
on
go?
the trade, and it was playing out, and I put it to break. No, I didn't put it to break even. I left it. So I'm
Okay.
leaving it to hit take profit,
Yep.
and that thing hit the take profit,
Oh,
but
excellent.
it no, not accident. It
Oh,
spiked down. It
oh,
spiked down, and I'd taken a trade right before that. I took another trade, so I'd lost $1,000 because it was $100,000 challenge,
yeah.
and I didn't remember,
Oh,
or I didn't take that into consideration. So
yeah.
although I passed the challenge, the trade continued running and made over $100,000, but I I violated the daily
I
loss
see.
limit. So
Oh, must have
but
been like a
that
news
just
event or
showed me the
something.
potential
Yeah.
of trading, so you
Mm.
know,
The potential and the danger as well.
well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that just told me that, continue, man, because there are many more trades like that.
Exactly. Oh, there's
There are
always
many more
opportunity.
trades like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's always price action patterns, whether you're looking for daily range or if you're looking for like just a little swing. There's always little patterns everywhere. It just depends
Mhm.
on how much you want to risk. Like if you want to find 10 points but you want to risk 10% in 10 points, you can still do very, very well like this. But my style is not too low time frame. I'm not like a scalper. I'm more like day trader. So I'm not like risking like my percentage on a very small pip like that.
Like
I'm not
that,
gonna.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless the setup is like that, then I'll do it. But most of the time with day trading, you have a little bit of a like a good size stop loss for a bit of movement.
Yeah, yeah. I like to place my stop loss at logical areas,
Hmm.
and that's why the bottom of the read kind of resonate with me like that, because
Yeah,
you always know where your stop loss is supposed to go. You don't just leave it in thin here
exactly.
like that. Yeah,
I just want to mark out this little 5 minute gap. Did it end up touching? It touched a little bit, just under there. It's tapping a 5 minute gap.
if I yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, uh, Somology. Any final questions? And then we'll call
Uh,
it there.
you mentioned about like a raid within a raid or something like that, or
Raid within a
armor
raid.
within an
Yeah.
armor.
Do you want me to talk a little bit about that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
sure. So we had something big last week. Like if you have a look at higher time frame last week, do you remember this movement here? This one?
that's nice.
Yeah. All the indices had this movement.
All the indices are
Yeah,
it.
yeah, all
Okay,
the yeah to take out like daily levels. If you remember,
okay.
we had like a big day. Where's my chart? Like these big daily lows, like these ones were
Hmm.
taken out.
Okay, yeah.
And if you remember, news event it was like the
The CPI
yeah
or
CPI, the big one. So
the
CPI,
CPI.
FOMC, NFP, those are the big ones.
Um,
Things like retail sale, it's okay. It's like medium impact. I don't see it as high impact. And then you have like Empire. What the hell is this? No one cares about this. This is medium impact. No one cares. And then there's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
PPI. PPI is like medium impact as well. But this was like CPI is a big one, and we were near like a big daily level. So
Mm-hmm.
if we look at higher time frames, so we're talking about RMR within RMR, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean is, if let's just go to 1 hour chart, it's a bit clearer. We can see that this would have been a big raid because there's daily level
Mm-hmm.
somewhere over here. This is
Mm-hmm.
raid, and then do you know what? Do you remember what I said? What is a really good market structure shift, or what makes a really good market structure shift?
If it takes the leg that started it,
Yeah, yeah. So what
if
started this? What started this?
that's a big bearish candle there.
Yeah, yeah. So what did the market structure shift take out the initial raid?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like it raid and then the shift broke whatever created this raid. So this is like a
yeah,
good shift, right? Instead of like a short term shift. So that would be an okay shift, but this is like a good shift.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is like a higher time frame RMR with gap in here, and this is your entry, right? Like you can have if you're a swing trader, I'm not a swing trader, but if you're a swing trader, you can place long here, fat stop loss with a fat objective, maybe aim for some higher time frame highs, right? And this is your swing trade, and you hold for maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks to aim for some equal high, whatever. So this is like a big RMR, and then when I talk about RMR within RMR, it's like when you see this higher time frame RMR, I'll just highlight this area where the return is. I'll color it something else. Let's color it yellow. Okay, now I'll zoom in. And then when you're zoomed in, you will keep in mind that this area is return area in the higher time frame, but you'll also look for short-term bullish RMR as well. So if we find like a raid and a shift and a return, for example, this is like the end of the week, but let's just say we have some lows that we raid, and then we wait for some sort of shift, maybe above some highs, then it shifts, whatever. And if we have some sort of entry like a return like this, like an RMR, like a short time frame RMR, as well as it's inside the return area for the big RMR, and we have like a bullish RMR there, then this is like an RMR inside an RMR, and this is like a how do you say, higher probability setup, because you're not just,
on the higher time frame it's bullish anyway.
yeah, in higher time frame it's also an RMR, and in lower time frame it's also one as well.
Oh, okay.
So then this RMR is like a small one within like a big one.
A bigger one.
Yeah. So when you have those situations, like if you look in a higher time frame, like a 1 hour chart, let's see, do we have anything here? Kind of. We have, let's say, raid, we have shift, and then return in here. But overall, we have to always look for what we're aiming at. Is there like objectives below? Let's just say we have really good objectives below. And then when price retraces into this higher time frame RMR, then if we look for like, if something like this happens and we have like raid, shift, return like that, then this is like a small RMR within the big RMR, right? So if something like this happens, then it'd be like a high probability RMR.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit
So you normally look for those RMRs on the higher time frame and then refine them as you go down.
Yeah. So higher time frame is always good for like the context, like what's happening in the bigger picture, because if you don't have any annotation, let me zoom in, like if this thing was not there, if this square was not there, like what is it? This is just consolidation. We have no idea what's going on here. But if you have this square, you keep in the back of your mind, oh, this is a potential return area to go bullish. So if I look for bullish opportunity, let's say we have a very, very simple entry method. We just look for gap and we enter on gap. So we look for gap, we enter, we're bullish, we wait for another gap. Oh, there's one here, we're bullish. We wait for one here, we can enter. And then there's one in here, we enter. And then finally, we see it's outside the return area. And then, yeah. So it's like looking for setups within setups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so for example, I just want to say one thing, it's very quickly. This one is a pretty good example. We have a raid here, for example, and then a market structure shift. And you can say this can be return for short, right? And you can see it would have been stopped. And if you don't have any context, then it just looks like a backtesting fail, a failed trade. But if you have context, sorry, my throat is. But with context, if you have in mind that this is a bullish RMR higher time frame, then most likely you won't care about this bearish RMR. You'll probably ignore it, right? Most likely you will ignore the bearish RMR because it's inside a bullish RMR, you want to have a bullish bias.
Okay.
So this bearish RMR, you'll filter it out. You won't look at it. You will ignore it.
Okay. And how high up on a time frame do you go to look for those overall RMRs, like
It all
on the 1 hour,
it
4
depends
hours?
on the objective. It's like for example, these high. Wait, let's use a UK because you trade UK. Like this equal high. If this is my objective, there's no way there will be a daily RMR to reach that objective. It's just not clear enough. If you're using like a daily, you're probably going to aim for like something much higher.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah.
If it's clean and it will aim for an objective, then it doesn't matter what time frame it is. And most of the time, because I'm in a day trader, so within the day, usually 15-minute time frame, you can see the entire day, you can see the outlook, and then 1 hour chart, you can see everything that you need.
Yeah.
Because everything is nearby. If price is here, you can see everything below, you can see everything above. It's only like when price is like here, for example, and we can't see anything below, then we have to zoom out
Go to a higher
and
time
see,
frame.
because I don't know what the hell's under here unless I zoom out. And
Yeah.
let's say, where are we? Over here. So then I can see, it's a weekly chart now. Then I can see, oh, this low, so much zooming. This low here, it actually broke a weekly low. So it raided a weekly low. So there was a lot of liquidity here that was raided. But if we didn't zoom out, we have no idea. Like, why did it dump so much? Where did it dump to? And then if we didn't zoom out, what if that low was right here? What happens then? If we don't zoom out, we would never know. But if that low was here, then what do you think I'm thinking?
Well, once you reach that low, you're gonna look for the market structure shift.
It's like if this low was down
Oh,
here, then it's more liquidity.
equal low.
Yeah, equal low, right? And then what the hell is this? This is like breaking sentiment. And then we have bearish, we break sentiment, and then we look for some sort of bearish RMR to go here.
To get back there.
Because it needs to take, like, market loves money. The market is designed to take money, so they'll always go to where the money is. That's why this low was actually like here. We saw it was here. It didn't just go to some random place. It went to where the money was.
And to illiquidity.
Exactly. And we know that if it doesn't take liquidity, is more liquidity. And that's usually how we see price in the very low time frame. In the very low time frame, like let's say this is a 1 minute chart, right? We'll see lots of liquidity get taken, and then sometimes we'll see liquidity become generated. And as soon as we see liquidity become generated, and we don't have like a big objective below, like there's no objective here, then our eyes is just focused up here. And then we can look for like sentiment break, and then look for bullish RMR to target here. So everything is like from higher time frame into low time frame. It happens everywhere. I think that was a pretty good example, actually.
I think that's part of it. When you see the raids, you have to be careful, and knowing if it has taken out the liquidity or it's just forming
Exactly.
equal lows. Because this morning I knew that it didn't break on the FTSE, on the K100. I knew it didn't break the daily low, but I still saw it as a raid. It was not until you pointed it out that it actually made equal lows.
Yeah, this one here, right? This one.
Yeah, that one right there. Yeah.
And if you just imagine, how many people do you think are very short-term scalper that are just looking at, not even one, maybe like 10-second chart, they're just looking at this. They have no idea what's going on the left. You have to know what's going on the left.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
if you just scroll out a bit, it's not hard to scroll out. Just scroll a bit, and you can see. Oh my God, it's equal low.
It's equal
It's
lows.
clean equal low as well. It's not just like a one equal low. It's like four equal low.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a major area. It's a very key area. And then you have like the story, like sentiment break, RMR setup, target equal low, and everything kind of lines up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I will call it there? Are you happy with our lesson so far?
I am, I am, I am, I
Oh,
am.
excellent.
I've learned,
Excellent.
I've learned so much, man. That,
Excellent. Oh, I'll
uh,
keep this recording so you can watch it over again. Uh, I think
yes.
everyone wants me to post it, so let me know if you're okay with it. I think you said you are, but
Yeah, man, I'm okay
okay.
with posting it.
Yeah, okay.
With
Sounds good.
posting it.
All right, Samuel.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Good talk. Good
Yeah,
talk.
man. Yeah, man. Thanks again, and I really
Oh,
appreciate you
my
taking
pleasure.
the
No,
time out.
thank you for watching my videos and being part of the community.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I will be there. It has helped me tremendously, man.
Okay.
So,
Oh, my pleasure, Samuel. Okay.
all right.
Have a
Yeah,
good
man.
day.
Thanks again.
Yep. No problem.
You too.
Yep. Goodbye.
All right.
Bye bye.